Our guest on Strike a Chord is Abigail Ory, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. That's insane. And here she goes. She's starting to merge on in. How's it going, fam?
Going good. How are you?
I am fabulous. Your house looks like you're in like a brewing facility.
Yeah,
Where are you right now? In the middle of the mountains?
I mean, yeah. So I'm outside of Boston, but yeah, this is an old barn.
I dig it. I like the setup. It's like, as much as I'm rocking the green screen, you're keeping it real over there. And I love that. And the thing about you is I find your music very fascinating. And obviously COVID-19 hasn't stopped you from producing new music. So talk to me about your new EP and what listeners can expect from the record.
Wow. Well, with regards to what to expect, I guess expect the unexpected. It's definitely the songs. So some of the songs that are on the EP were songs that I had already released as singles. So there's some that you might recognize if you've heard my music before. And then there's also a few curveballs. I would say that.
Yeah, a few. I would say your music's all over the place. And when I think about you, Abigail, I feel like you're the kind of person that doesn't like to be placed under a certain artist or genre. Is that how you feel?
I would say that I want to appeal to people sort of regardless of how they feel about, pop or rock or indie or whatever. I still consider my music as falling under the pop umbrella. I call it weird pop. Because
is weird pop getting mixed with like folk music? I mean, you kind of remind me of those like stringy old school 60 vibes like Judy Collins for etc. Is that kind of what you were going for? I mean, what does weird pop to you mean?
Weird pop, I mean, to me I made something that was just trying to be as true to my own vision as possible, and what I ended up with was something very unlike really anything I'd heard. I pull influences from all over. I mean, from Marina and the Diamonds to the Violent Femmes to folk music and all sorts of genres. And so I try to kind of take my influences and merge them together in a way that doesn't necessarily sound exactly like it's coming from one place or another, but sounds like something new was born.
But obviously with your latest track, Waves, to me it seems like, I know that it was written originally like years ago, but like a young woman like yourself, how could you even be thinking about love right now? I mean, are you thinking about that even during a pandemic? I mean, you kind of heard earlier that millennials are going to be single for a long time. They don't want to go anywhere. I mean, where's your mindset at?
I was going to say all relationships are a little on hold right now since we're not able to see people in person. Just trying to, right now, sort of socially, I'm just trying to focus on staying connected to loved ones, friends and family through all of this. Definitely not on any dating websites or anything like that right now. Not going out meeting people either.
What it sounds like is Abigail Ory is waiting for the tides to kind of hit the shores for her love life to come on in. And what better way to check out her brand new latest single right now? This song is called
the smoke
Waves.
At my fingertips, breathing just to get by. There's no real way to live. Whatever when the daybreak comes, he fades away with the rising sun. Oh, why did I fall? Feel the salt on my skin and the water start to drag me in. This ocean of mine is a treacherous place to swim, and as it starts to reach high tide, I hope you start to feel alive. Oh, why did I fall? Waves roll onto the waking light, stars fade back into the night. It is there in the morning I can finally
That's right. That was Abigail Ory, and that's her latest single, Wave. So that's amazing. I love that track. And I know a lot of the listeners are probably thinking, like, Chris, you just said earlier, like, it sounds like folk music. There's nothing really folk in there.
Well,
Trust me, the
I
next
was
track
thinking,
that's coming.
well, I honestly, when I hear, because like your music is so different on different songs, but with this one, it reminded me of White Stripes and Billie Eilish. Like if they were smushed together, then you would have Abigail Ory. Like,
So Marissa's making babies
sound.
again.
I always think of music babies. I'm like, oh, it's like this.
Is that a fair comparison? I mean, are you into that? I mean,
I will take it.
I will take it. I will roll with it. But you know what, Abigail, I got to address this with you because in one of your singles, you say the following line: "On the day that doomsday comes, all I want is a single drum." And, your name is Abigail. And I do feel like I've been living in the Salem witch trial in 2020, and it's been sort of a shit show. So, like, please don't bring any of those kind of voodoo vibes for 2021. I'm telling you, because that's where I start hearing those, like, stringy sound effects that I get from folk. And it's very trippy and bizarre. And that's why I go, gosh, you can't place Abigail Ory in any genre. She's her own self. I mean, is that fair to say? I mean, do you like to hear that, or are you kind of like?
Yeah, I love to hear. No, I love hearing. I love hearing what other people hear in my music, right? Because I can say, what I was thinking when I came up with this song, or what I was basing it off of. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. What matters is, what listeners pull from it, right? And I definitely was going for a creepy folky vibe with Doomsday.
Yeah,
I like how deep your lyrics are. Like your lyrics aren't that typical pop where it repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats the one line, but it actually has like a lyricist behind it. And Chris was telling me you actually like heavy metal, and I was like,
I do. That song was that Doomsday specifically, the folky one. I had just finished listening to my friend's heavy metal release, and I was thinking about, I was like, okay, that song and folk and Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Those were the things that I was
some Pink
about.
Floyd.
But there is definitely kind of a metal influence, at least for me, kind of lyrically, and then we tried to make fun of it in the music video too, with a lot of kind of fantasy gothic type imagery.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that because I'm always joking with my parents all the time, and it's like they'll go, gosh, I can't stand that music. If I can't understand it, it's terrible. And it's like, no, it's actually really good music. And if I actually listen to the same music as you too, Mom and Dad. But the thing is, I just have a larger music library than you. And I find that really fascinating because who would have thought that folk music and getting influence from Pink Floyd, and gosh, this almost sounds like you're into black metal too with those kind of stringy effects. Who would have thought? And I have another question for you because I like asking this with artists right now in the middle of COVID-19 because I can only imagine you're dying to perform live again. And like, how far would you go to get back on that stage?
I mean, I want to do whatever's smart and whatever's safe right now. And I'm not necessarily confident that, or I'm definitely not confident that performing indoors right now is a wise move.
Even if you had, because I've been hearing suggestions that they want to change the ticket passes to have like a plastic QR code, and like people would literally scan it and it'll say whether they're negative or positive. And obviously you're asking for more work from the venue. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I was like, yeah, so that's sort of like contact tracing, basically.
Right.
The idea there. I mean, I think that the way that I've read that works is it works best when people are, everyone has to get tested in order for that to work. People have to be getting regularly tested. If people were getting regularly tested and were doing contact tracing, I don't know. I'm not a pandemic expert, so I couldn't say whether that was a good idea. But
hey, I'm just asking, how far would you go? But in theory, though, would you take every route you could go if they start to open up in those kind of directions? Would you be willing to do it? Or are you going to kind of sit back a little bit? I'm not taking that risk just now.
I'm trying to be. I mean, it's a big risk to me, right, as a singer, to get a pulmonary illness. So I want to be as as safe as possible. But I
they
did
say
do
you're the
some-
less vulnerable, though, the youth. So
I did do some outdoor performing this summer, which was good. I mean, when people in a place where people can stand pretty far apart and
Right.
you're outside too, and I was pretty comfortable with that. And then obviously, live streaming is basically the way to go right now.
Well, I'm very comfortable with your music, but I'm not comfortable with Doomsday. Even though you've been singing about it, but we're gonna be playing your music video right now, which is your track, Doomsday. So here it is right now.
All is again. I'm so proud of you, Gabby.
In a world of progress.
Guys, I really don't think we should be here.
And a time of curiosity.
What does it say?
Curiosity is sin. Do not indulge your pride. Seal this book and stow it, or face the evil inside.
When the world needed heroes, what it got was them.
Say hello to Lucy for me.
Lucifer.
Yeah, that's like kind of the point.
They are middle school best friends by day.
If those things get a hold of this book, they'll
Yeah, world good, doomsday bad. Somehow this is our problem.
And protectors of mystical knowledge by night.
The humans are feeble creatures, but we do not yet know how many there are to face.
Send the Spy Master. He'll unearth what we need to know to destroy them.
On the day that doomsday comes, all I want is a single drum, a drum to drum while I sing and hum, a drum to drum. When doomsday comes that day, according to the lore, all I'll hear is a single horn, a horn to call me to the Lord. On the end of days, so says the Lord.
They'll do whatever it takes to defeat evil.
On the day that doomsday comes, all I'll have is a single drum, a drum to drum while my soul is judged by our maker when doomsday
Now
comes.
they're playing with fire.
Demons are born from literal hellfire. Are they even flammable?
Flammable, inflammable. All the same to me.
From the depths of hell.
We are ready to strike at dawn.
Humankind shall know naught but pain and misery until they cease to exist.
Let the prophecy begin.
On the day that doomsday comes, all I want is a single drum, a drum to drum while I sing and hum, a drum to drum when doomsday comes that day.
Would Tommy go to the dance with me if I asked? No. If I threatened him? Maybe.
At the end of days, so says the Lord. When Gabriel
Ready your weapons. Cover the window.
That's gotta hurt.
Plug in the blender.
shall burn, and my heart it shall yearn for the dead to return as everything around them burns someday.
Doomsday. It's here. It's happening. From Abigail Ory.
You want this? Yeah? Well, I hope you know Braille because you're not gonna have eyes in like 15 seconds.
Doomsday. Coming soon. Doomsday. Coming soon. Doomsday. Coming. Doomsday. Coming soon. Doomsday. Coming soon. Doomsday. Coming soon.
That's right. That's Abigail Ory, and that is her song Doomsday. And while we still got time with you, you do have a track here that we're going to be playing, and it's called All I Want for Christmas is Emotional Stability, which I find just hilarious because, Abigail, I got to tell you, you got to stop growing up. Because the thing is, once you stop believing in Santa Claus, then your parents are going to start getting you more clothing for Christmas. So that's kind of the trick of the trade when it comes to Christmas Day. So what's your beef with Christmas?
I don't have any particular beef with Christmas, but I think
Oh, stop it. You must have some beef.
I think everybody, at least every American that I've talked to has beef with just the insane kind of expectations for the Christmas season that are all honest. Like, I don't think I know anybody who's like, wow, Christmas, Like, how relaxing.
Unless you're a 5-year-old child, because they're like, I love Christmas.
Yeah. And it was sort of, I was like, I feel like everyone can relate. You know, I may be insanely stressed out year round, but everyone can relate to being insanely stressed out in December.
Oh yeah. Especially with COVID right now. Like, I don't even know how I'm going to get any presents for anybody but my daughter. And usually I like to give a present to my parents or present to this. And I'm like, I got to pay rent. I was like, sorry.
Our viewership's going down, Marissa, because now your parents just logged off. They're like, what? I'm not getting a gift, Marissa? What are you talking about? I mean, it's so true, because I'm 27. I'm starting to get to the point now where I sort of feel guilty on a level. Like, I know my mom's already kind of like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? It's already that time. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're only like less than 7 days into November, and you're already asking me about it, because I feel so guilty now, because I know how hard my parents worked their asses off.
But the real question, Chris, is what do your parents want for Christmas? Do they want you to have your own apartment?
I'm sure they would. I'm sure that's what my father's thinking right now. No, my mom says every year, she's like, Chris, it seems like I need slippers. I'm really easy, okay? I just need slippers. I mean, what is that go-to gift that your parents always need to have, Abigail? I mean, that they're always bugging you about.
My dad always gives me really weird gift prompts. Like last year, I asked him what he wanted for Hanukkah, and he was like, I want you to make me a painting, but you need to use only 2 of the 3 primary colors, and you have to make it in under 35 minutes.
What?
Wow,
that was seriously his gift prompt. And so I did. I made him a painting using 2 of the 3 primary colors, and I made it in under 35 minutes.
I love your dad. Like, that description of what he wanted, he's my new favorite fan. Tell your dad. Oh my God.
That's actually kind of cool, because then it becomes a little bit more personal instead of like, sorry, Mom. I mean, slippers go away after like 6 months. They get kind of broken down. I mean, if you want me to draw you something, Mumsy, I can take on Abigail Ory's advice. I love that. I think that's really, really cool. But we got one more song that we want to play here on Strike a Chord. And this song is called All I Want for Christmas is Emotional Stability.
It's Christmas time, Yuletide, it's solstice season, and I wish I could find a single reason to get out of bed, take a shower, clear my head. I wonder when I'll stop feeling dead. Well, all I want for Christmas is emotional stability. Stop racking my brain for reasons to eat. I wanna play it cool, stop singing the blues, be as popular as Christmas carols written by Jews. I wanna be as serene as all that new falling snow, feel like there's people to see and places to go. I wanna sleep as soundly as Christ the Lord, as he lay in the manger on Christmas morn. It's Christmas time, Yuletide, please don't remind me. I've been trying to find a silver lining to this point in time, some way to quiet my mind. Still I wonder on Christmas Day what I'll find, 'cause all I want for Christmas is emotional stability. Stop racking my brain for reasons to eat. I wanna play it cool, stop singing the blues, be as popular as Christmas carols written by Jews. I wanna be as serene as all that new falling snow, feel like there's people to see and places to go. I wanna sleep as soundly as Christ the Lord, as he lay in the manger on Christmas morn. For
That's right. That's Abigail Ory, and that's her song, All I Want for Christmas is Emotional Stability. And hopefully you find that next month. But for all the listeners that are checking you out right now, where can they find your music?
Oh, it is. I think it's on every platform. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, iTunes. All those videos are on YouTube.
You name it. It's everywhere. So if you want to go ahead and check her out, support her, go get a physical copy. This is Abigail Ory, and thank you again for joining us for Strike a Chord on the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
We'll see you around, fam.
All right.
Peace.
See you.